Oh. So then. Bowen, we're ready? We roll? Okay, go, Linda.
Good morning and welcome to the 2021 Australian Under 15 and Youth Championships. This is session 1, which is the women's 40 and 45 kilogram bodyweight categories. I'm your host, Linda Eads, currently in Sydney, New South Wales. This weekend, we were meant to be in Hobart, having our first face-to-face national competition in over a year, but COVID put a stop to that. So rather than letting the pandemic get the better of us, we've decided to make the most of the current situation and utilise technology to its fullest to ensure these young lifters get an opportunity to display their skill and strength on the platform. These athletes have maintained their training programs to peak for this event, and now they'll compete for the title of Australian champion. I'll introduce them to you now. In the 40 kilo bodyweight category, we have 2 lifters. Our first athlete from Queensland is Amelie Graham. Our second athlete representing Victoria is Isabella Lowe King. In the 45 kilo bodyweight category, also 2 lifters. The first of those lifters from South Australia is Celine Hoon, and the second lifter from Queensland is Zoe Christie. Our technical officials for this session, also joining us from various locations around Australia, are referee Rebecca Jakubowski, referee Damon Kelly, referee Jessica Edge. Our timekeeper and marshal for this session is Ian Moyer. We will be our jury for this morning, our jury president is Pedro Sanchez, and jury member Robert Gotts, and jury member Coral Quinnell. We will be communicating with coaches via the online change portal, which will allow them to enter weight category weight changes, so the competition can run as if we were lifting all together in one location. We've also laid out some ground rules for our athletes and coaches and officials, and we've done our best to simulate the elements of an in-person competition. So our timekeeper and marshals will be running the scoring system and entering weight changes from coaches as they come in. The order of lifting will proceed as if the athletes were sharing the platform. As always, each athlete will have 3 attempts at the snatch and then a 10-minute break and then 3 attempts at the clean and jerk. Each of their best lifts will be added together to provide a total for the competition. Athletes following themselves will, however, receive a 3-minute clock. That concludes our introduction, and our clock has expired, so we will put 1 minute on the clock and call our first lifter, which is Isabella Lowe King from Victoria, and she has 21 kilos on the bar.
Sorry, I should have set it down. That was a valid lift.
And that's a good lift from Isabella on her opening attempt at 21 kilos. The lift will stay with Isabella, and we will see 22 kilos on the bar, and Isabella will have 3 minutes. So you'll see that 3-minute clock has started to count down if you are watching us live, and you've got the live scoreboard there in front of you. So that time is to allow the loaders to change the weight for the lifter. In a normal competition, we would stop the clock while the loaders change the weights, but in this format, it's simply an additional minute is added. And there's a change come through for Isabella. So 23 kilos now loaded on the bar, And the call still stays with the lifter from Victoria. So this additional minute is allowed for the changes on the bar when the athlete is taking consecutive lifts. When we have lifters following another lifter, you'll just see a 1 minute clock counting down, as we will assume that the bar is already loaded, ready to go, because the lifters are in a different location. So now we're counting down into the lifters 2 minutes, which is the normal time period when lifters are taking consecutive lifts. So 23 kilos on the bar for the second attempt of Victorian lifter Isabella Lowe King.
Down.
And that was another good lift for Isabella on 23 kilos. So the automatic increment is applied. So 24 kilos will be needed on the bar. And as Isabella is still taking consecutive lifts, she'll have 3 minutes and the call will stay with her. Of course, the coaches can make changes. And the coaches have the facility to make those changes on their phone, and looks like there's a change going to come through. So scoreboard's still, oh, there it is. So the scoreboard's changed to 25 kilos and the lift still stays with Isabella. So Isabella's still the lifter on call. And we'll just keep that clock counting down for Isabella. I think the Queensland lifter also took a weight increment increase. So the call stays with Isabella. And it is her third attempt.
Down.
And that's a good lift. So 3 out of 3 this morning for Isabella from Victoria. We will now see 1 minute on the clock for the Queensland lifter, Amelie Graham. 26 kilos on the bar for Amelie.
Down.
And that was a good lift for Amelie, also starting the competition well. So 27 kilos on the bar will be for Amelie's second attempt. So that's the automatic increment. And because Amelie is taking consecutive lifts, you'll have a 3-minute clock, as we saw for our previous lifter. So 28 kilos on the bar is currently the weight for Amelie Graham. So one change has come through for Emily. So the automatic increment would have taken her to 27, and then the coach has changed that by 1 kilo. So we've got 28 kilos currently on the bar. For the second attempt of Emily Graham from Queensland. So now counting down into the lifters 2 minutes. And we're just seeing an adjustment to the bar there, making sure that collar's on nice and tight. So in a normal face-to-face competition, if any of the loaders move onto the platform, the clock would stop. But in the online format that you're watching today, that doesn't happen. So the clock will always be running, and lifters taking consecutive lifts have an extra minute added to the normal 2 minutes. Lifters have all of the time available for them on the clock to commence the lift. And you'll notice that once the bar leaves the platform, the clock will stop.
Down.
And that was another good lift for Emily on her second attempt of 28 kilos. We now have 29 kilos to be loaded on the bar. Emily still following herself, taking consecutive lifts, so a 3-minute clock. It'll be an interesting competition today to see how long it actually takes loaders to change the bar, because normally there's not a clock running while the loaders are on there. Okay, and there's been a change, so Emily's gone to 30 kilos. Still the same lifter. Zoe Christie from Queensland, you'll be the lifter to follow. So third attempt for Emily from Queensland. 30 kilos currently loaded on the bar. Going up in 2 kilo increments there. So we'll probably see Emily come out on this weight. Okay, so there's been a change come through. So 31 kilos loaded on the bar for Emily. And Emily currently in the lead in the snatch in the 40 kilo bodyweight category. So the call is on our Queensland lifter. Third attempt, 31 kilos. And we are currently watching the lifting for Emily Graham. Fortunately, no lift there for Emily, but she was successful on her second attempt. So we now move to Queensland lifter Zoe Christie, and in the 45 bodyweight category,
Zoe.
32 on the bar.
Come on. Wait.
Down.
And a good lift there for Zoe's opener on 32 kilos. Zoe will be taking consecutive lifts, so 3 minutes on the clock, and the call is for 33 kilos currently, the automatic increment. So changes come through. So Zoe has now elected to take 35 kilos. So the bar being changed over at the moment. The call will stay with Zoe Christie from Queensland. So, and lifters today are able to use either collars or clips, and Zoe is using clips, and they don't count for the weight on the bar. So the green plates and the girls' bar is 35 kilos. Celine Hoon, you'll be the lifter to follow. Please prepare. So currently the call is with Zoe Christie from Queensland, competing in the 45 kilo bodyweight category and 35 kilos on the bar. Prior to the start of the session, all of the lifters did a equipment check.
Come on, Zoe. Come on. Wait.
Down.
And a good lift for Zoe on 35 kilos. So the automatic increment will go to 36 kilos. There's been a change. If we can just refresh that scoreboard and take Zoe back to her second attempt. So her second attempt at 35 was a good lift. Thank you. So the scoreboard's just been reset. So the call is for Zoe Christie for 36 kilos, the automatic increment. So I'm sure that we will see a change come through for Zoe, as that was a fairly comfortable second attempt. And we have indeed. So 38 kilos is now on being for Zoe Christie from Queensland. And as I was saying before, all of the lifters did an equipment check this morning, so it could be determined that the bar and the plates were all appropriate as per the competition guidelines. So 38 kilos on the bar. So Zoe using clips rather than the normal 2.5 collars. So the bar and the plates and the little fractionals on the outside take us to 38 kilos for her third attempt. Celine Hoon from South Australia, you'll be the lifter to follow.
Come on, Zoe. Come on. Come on, let's get this record. Come on. Nice, good job. Wait,
Down.
wait. Nice job.
And that was a good lift by majority there for Zoe on 38 kilos. So we'll now move over to South Australia and the lifter Celine Hoon for her first attempt at 42 kilos. We'll put 1 minute on the clock for Celine. And that bar is ready to go.
Come on, Celine. Easy.
Down.
And a good lift there for Celine on 42 kilos. And that looked pretty comfortable there and some very manageable weight. We'll just take that back on the scoreboard to Celine's second attempt. So 43 kilos is the automatic increment being added, 1 kilo. I'm sure we'll see change come through. And of course we have. So 46 kilos is the call now for Celine. And Celine is competing in the 45 kilo bodyweight category here at the championships. So Celine taking consecutive lifts, so the clock counting down from 3 minutes rather than the normal 2 minutes. The coaches are still required to make a change in the first 30 seconds of their normal 2-minute clock, which has just started now for Celine, as they would do if this was a normal face-to-face competition. And once that first declaration has been made, that then allows additional changes in the remaining allowable time period to 30 seconds.
Come on.
Welcome back to the 2021 Australian Under 15 and Youth Championships. We're underway with session 1. Categories. Our first athlete in the 40 kilo bodyweight category is from Victoria, Isabella Low King, and 25 kilos on the bar. So the clock is counting for Isabella Low King, first attempt. .30 seconds remaining.
Down.
And a good lift there for Isabella on her opening attempt. So the automatic increment applied, 26 kilos, and the call will stay with Isabella. So we'll see a 3-minute clock starting to count down. So that extra minute is allowed for the loaders to change. Let's get Isabella's clock starting. So if we can have Isabella's clock commence. So the call is for Isabella. Just need that clock started. And we'll just go back to the groups. It's a 40 kilo bodyweight category this morning, which is the first two lifters, Isabella and Amelie. And Isabella being successful with her opening attempt there. So always a relief when you've got a total on the board. And Amelie and Isabella are both competing in the under 15 portion of the competition here this morning. So lifters taking consecutive lifts have a 3-minute clock in this competition, as opposed to a normal 2-minute clock. And you'll see that clock running all the time, as we're not allowing loading time because our lifters are lifting in different venues rather than in the same venue. So call is on the Victorian lifter, Isabella Low King. You'll see that Isabella is lifting in the Weightlifting Academy of Tasmania. The Victorian lifters have actually travelled to Tassie.
Down.
And a good lift there for Isabella on her second attempt at 28 kilos. So the automatic increment, 29 kilos for Isabella. I'm sure we'll see a change come through from that. And the call will remain with Isabella. Unless she was to put more, unless she was to put up to 35 kilos on the bar, the call will stay with Isabella. So there's a call come through. So 31 kilos is our call for the Victorian lifter for her third attempt. So that clock is counting while the loading is going on. It's good motivation for quick loading. So the loaders, they're just changing over the plates. And the call is for 31 kilos. In a minute 43 remaining for Isabella. So third attempt in the clean and jerk. And Isabella from Victoria, but actually lifting this morning in Tasmania.
Down.
And a good lift by majority there for Isabella on her third attempt. So 6 from 6 this morning. Loaders, or we need Emily Graham, 35 kilos. Oh, Emily's taken more. So 38 kilos is for Emily Graham from Queensland. 1 minute on the clock.
Down.
And a good lift for Emily's opener there on 38 kilos. We now need 39 kilos for the same lifter. So Emily will have 3 minutes. And that looked like a fairly comfortable opening attempt there from Emily from Queensland. I'm sure we will see a change come through. And there's the loaders springing into action. We'll just wait to see what that's reflected. So 40 kilos is now the call for Emily. So the green plates and the collars being loaded onto the bar there. Zoe Christie from Queensland, please prepare. You'll be the lifter to follow. So that was one change that came through from Amelie. We'll just see whether any further changes come through, and coaches can make 2 changes following the initial declaration. And those changes can happen down to the final 30 seconds. So that 30 seconds is the cutoff. No changes can happen after that point in time. And so long as a declaration is made in the first 30 seconds on a 2-minute clock. So the call is currently with the Queensland lifter, Amelie Graham, and 40 kilos on the bar.
Down.
And another good lift for Amelie on her second attempt there. So 41 kilos is the automatic increment, and the lift stays with Amelie Graham from Queensland. So counting down on a 3-minute clock. Zoe Christie, please prepare. And a change has come through from Amelie. So we now need to see our Queensland lifter, Zoe Christie, and 42 kilos for that lifter ready to go.
Come on. Good job, Wade.
Down.
And a good lifter for Zoe's opening attempt there on 42 kilos. We still need to stay with 42 kilos, and we move back to Amelie Graham from Queensland for her third attempt. .45 kilos on the bar. So the call is on the South Australian lifter, Celine Hoon. 35 seconds remaining. Okay, change of call. Back to our Queensland lifter, Zoe Christie, with 45 kilos. So change come through for Zoe there, going to 46 kilos.
Come on, Zoe. Come on. Looking good. Wait.
Down.
And a good lift there for Zoe on her second attempt of 46 kilos. Automatic increment of 47 kilos and a 3-minute clock for Zoe. And this will be her third and final attempt. Celine Hoon from South Australia, you'll be the lifter to follow. So there's been a change of call. Zoe taking more, but also Celine taking more. So the call is back with Zoe Christie. 50 kilos on the bar. So Zoe currently sitting on a total of 84 kilos, hoping to increase that with this third attempt. So Zoe currently in the lead in the under 17 and also the under 15 section in the women's 45 kilo bodyweight category.
Come on.
Zoe.
Come on. Oh.
Unfortunately, no lift there for Zoe on her third attempt. We now go to Celine Hoon, first attempt, 54 kilos.
Hasn't happened yet.
They're in the past.
We're in the past.
We're in the matrix. Come on, Celine. Come on, Celine.
Let's go, Celine. Come on. Up.
Up. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Hold it.
Down.
Hold it down.
Yeah.
And a good lift there for Celine on her opener there at 54 kilos. And with that, she goes into the lead in the 45 kilo category. So 55 is the automatic increment. Celine's 3-minute clock is counting down, and I'm sure we'll see a change come through. Coach in the background, I think they're just making those changes on the phone, which is a great piece of technology that we are using today. It's the online change portal. So a change has come through. So 57 kilos now being loaded onto the bar for Celine Hoon, South Australia, for her second attempt. Okay, so the bar is loaded for Celine. Second attempt from South Australia. So we have 2 more lifts in this first session here at the Australian Under 15 and Youth Championships. And this is our final lifter from South Australia. So Celine on the board with the total, hoping to better that now with her second attempt. Unfortunately, no lift there for Celine on 57. And so we'll see the clock restart at 3 minutes. And Celine will have an opportunity to take that again. And for those of you watching online, we'll be aiming to start session 2 at 10:20 AEST. So that will be session 2 starting at 10:20. Here this morning, and it is with South Australian lifter Celine Hoon on 57 kilos. It looks like there's a change coming through. So, yep, scoreboard has now changed to 58 kilos. And this will stay with Celine and be her third attempt.
Come on, go.
And unfortunately, no lift there for Celine, and still finishing with a total. So that concludes our first session here at the Under 15 and Youth 2021 AWF Championships. And in our 40 kilo bodyweight category this morning, we had 2 lifters. In silver medal position with a total of 56 kilos is Victorian lifter Isabella Lowe King. And in gold medal place is the Queensland lifter, Emily Graham, with 70 kilos. Both of those girls lifting in the under 15 part of the competition. In the youth and under 15 competition for the 45 kilo bodyweight category, 2 lifters in silver medal position is the Queensland lifter Zoe Christie with 84 kilos, and in the gold medal position with 104 kilos, South Australian lifter Celine Hoon. So congratulations, girls. You did a wonderful job lifting this morning. Well done. And that's going to conclude our session. To those watching at home on the live stream, and we hope you've enjoyed the session. We'll see you back with session 2 at 10:20.